Measure for Measure by William Shakespeare. Act I scene I an apartment in the Duke's palace. Of government the properties to unfold, would seem in me to affect speech and discourse, since I am put to know that your own science exceeds in that, the lists of all advice my strength can give you. Then no more remains, but that to your sufficiency, as your worth is able, and let them work. The nature of our people, our city's institutions, and the terms for common justice, you're as pregnant in as art and practice hath enriched any that we remember. There is our commission, from which we would not have you wop. Call hither, I say, bid come before us Angelo. Exit an attendant, what figure of us think you he will bear? For you must know, we have with special soul elected him our absence to supply, lent him our terror, dressed him with our love, and given his deputation all the organs of our own power. What think you of it? If any in Vienna be of worth to undergo such ample grace and honor, it is Lord Angelo. Always obedient to your grace's will, I come to know your pleasure. Angelo, there is a kind of character in thy life, that to the observer doth thy history fully unfold. Thyself and thy belongings are not thine own so proper as to waste thyself upon thy virtues, they on thee. Heaven doth with us as we with torches do, not light them for themselves, for if our virtues did not go forth of us, 'twere all alike as if we had them not. Spirits are not finely touched but to fine issues, nor nature never lends the smallest scruple of her excellence, but like a thrifty goddess, she determines herself the glory of a creditor, both thanks and use. But I do bend my speech to one that can my part in him advertise. Hold therefore, Angelo. In our remove be thou at full ourself. Mortality and mercy in Vienna live in thy tongue and heart. Old Aeschylus, though first in question, is thy secondary. Take thy commission. Now, good my lord, let there be some more test made of my metal, before so noble and so great a figure be stamped upon it. No more evasion, we have with a leavened and prepared choice proceeded to you, therefore take your honours. Our haste from hence is of so quick condition that it prefers itself, and leaves unquestioned matters of needful value. We shall write to you, as time and our concernings shall importune, how it goes with us, and do look to know what doth befall you here. So, fare you well, to the hopeful execution do I leave you of your commissions. Yet give leave, my lord, that we may bring you something on the way. My haste may not admit it, nor need you, on mine honour, have to do with any scruple. Your scope is as mine own, so to enforce or qualify the laws as to your soul seems good. Give me your hand, I'll privily away. I love the people, but do not like to stage me to their eyes. Through it do well. I do not relish well their loud applause and aves vehement, nor do I think the man of safe discretion that does affect it. Once more, fare you well. I shall desire you, sir, to give me leave to have free speech with you, and it concerns me to look into the bottom of my place. A power I have, but of what strength and nature I am not yet instructed. 'Tis so with me. Let us withdraw together, and we may soon our satisfaction have touching that point. Scene room into a street. Fellow, why dost thou show me thus to the world? Bear me to prison, where I am committed. I do it not in evil disposition, but from Lord Angelo by special charge. Thus can the demigod authority make us pay down for our offence by weight the words of heaven, on whom it will, on whom it will not, so. Yet still 'tis just. From too much liberty, my Lucio, liberty. As surfeit is the father of much fast, so every scope by the immoderate use turns to restraint. Our natures do pursue, like rats that raven down their proper bane, a thirsty evil, and when we drink we die. Thus stands it with me. Upon a true contract, I got possession of Julieta's bed. You know the lady, she is fast my wife, save that we do the denunciation lack of outward order. This we came not to, only for propagation of a dower remaining in the coffer of her friends, from whom we thought it meet to hide our love, till time had made them for us. But it chances the stealth of our most mutual entertainment with character too gross is writ on Juliet. Unhappily, even so, and the new deputy now for the Duke, whether it be the fault and glimpse of newness, or whether that the body public be a hoss whereon the governor doth ride, who, newly in the seat that it may know he can command, lets it straight feel the spur. Whether the tyranny be in his place, or in his eminence that fills it up, I stagger in. But this new governor awakes me all the enrolled penalties which have, like unscoured armor, hung by the wall so long that 19 zodiacs have gone round and none of them been won, and for a name, now puts the drowsy and neglected act freshly on me. 'Tis surely for a name. I have done so, but he's not to be found. I prithee, Lucio, do me this kind service. This day my sister should the cloister enter, and there receive her approbation. Acquaint her with the danger of my state. Implore her, in my voice, that she make friends to the strict deputy. Bid herself assay him. I have great hope in that. For in her youth there is a prone and speechless dialect such as move men. Besides, she hath prosperous art when she will play with reason and discourse, and well she can persuade. Scene Roman 3 a monastery. No, holy father, throw away that thought. Believe not that the dribbling dart of love can pierce a complete bosom. Why I desire thee to give me secret harbor, hath a purpose more grave and wrinkled than the aims and ends of burning youth. My holy sir, none better knows than you how I have ever loved the life removed and held an idle price to haunt assemblies where youth, and cost, and witless bravery keeps. I have delivered to Lord Angelo, a man of stricture and firm abstinence, my absolute power and place here in Vienna, and he supposes me travelled to Poland, for so I have strewed it in the common ear, and so it is received. Now, pious sir, you will demand of me why I do this? We have strict statutes and most biting laws, the needful bits and curbs to headstrong weeds, which for this 19 years we have let slip, even like an o'ergrown lion in a cave that goes not out to prey. Now, as fond fathers, having bound up the threatening twigs of birch, only to stick it in their children's sight for terror, not to use, in time the rod becomes more mocked than feared. So our decrees, dead to infliction, to themselves are dead, and liberty plucks justice by the nose, the baby beats the nurse, and quite athwart goes all decorum. It rested in your grace to unloose this tied-up justice when you pleased, and it in you more dreadful would have seemed than in Lord Angelo. I do fear, too dreadful, sith 'twas my fault to give the people scope, 'twould be my tyranny to strike and gall them for what I bid them do. For we bid this be done, when evil deeds have their permissive pass and not the punishment. Therefore indeed, my father, I have on Angelo imposed the office, who may, in the ambush of my name, strike home, and yet my nature never in the fight to do in slander. And to behold his sway, I will, as twere a brother of your order, visit both prince and people. Therefore, I prithee, supply me with the habit, and instruct me how I may formally in person bear me like a true friar. Mo reasons for this action at our more leisure shall I render you. Only this one. Lord Angelo is precise, stands at a god with envy, scarce confesses that his blood flows, or that his appetite is more to bread than stone. Hence shall we see, if power change purpose, what our seemas be. Exeunt. Scene Roman for a nunnery. Yes, truly. I speak not as desiring more, but rather wishing a more strict restraint upon the sisterhood, the votarists of St. Clare. It is a man's voice. Gentle Isabella, turn you the key, and know his business of him. You may, I may not, you are yet unsworn. When you have vowed, you must not speak with men but in the presence of the prioress. Then if you speak, you must not show your face, or if you show your face, you must not speak. He calls again, I pray you, answer him. Exit, hail, virgin, if you be, as those cheek roses proclaim you are no less. Can you so stead me as bring me to the sight of Isabella, a novice of this place and the fair sister to her unhappy brother Claudio? Why, her unhappy brother? Let me ask, the rather for I now must make you know I am that Isabella and his sister. Gentle and fair, your brother kindly greets you, not to be weary with you, he's in prison. For that which, if myself might be his judge, he should receive his punishment in thanks, he hath got his friend with child. It is true. I would not, though 'tis my familiar sin with maids to seem the lapwing and to jest, tongue far from hot, play with all virgins so. I hold you as a thing enskied and sainted, by your renouncement and immortal spirit, and to be talked with in sincerity, as with a saint. Do not believe it. Fewness and truth, 'tis thus. Your brother and his lover have embraced, as those that feed grow full, as blossoming time that from the seedness the bare fallow brings to teeming foison, even so her plenteous womb expresseth his full tilth and husbandry. Adoptedly, as schoolmaids change their names by vain though apt affection. This is the point. The Duke is very strangely gone from hence, bar many gentlemen, myself being one, in hand and hope of action, but we do learn by those that know the very nerves of state, his givings out were of an infinite distance from his true meant design. Upon his place, and with full line of his authority, governs Lord Angelo, a man whose blood is very snowbroth, one who never feels the wanton stings and motions of the sense, but doth rebate and blunt his natural edge with profits of the mind, study, and fast. He to give fear to use and liberty, which have for long run by the hideous law, as mice by lions, hath picked out an act, under whose heavy sense your brother's life falls into forfeit. He arrests him on it, and follows close the rigor of the statute, to make him an example. All hope is gone, unless you have the grace by your fair prayer to soften Angelo, and that's my pith of business twixt you and your poor brother. Has censured him already, and as I hear, the provost hath a warrant for his execution. Alas, what poor abilities in me to do him good. Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. Go to Lord Angelo, and let him learn to know when maidens sue, men give like gods, but when they weep and kneel, all their petitions are as freely theirs as they themselves would owe them. I will about it straight, no longer staying but to give the mother notice of my affair. I humbly thank you, commend me to my brother. Soon at night I'll send him certain word of my success. Measure for Measure by William Shakespeare. Uncopyright may you do good and not evil. May you find forgiveness for yourself and forgive others. May you share freely, never taking more than you give. Copyright pages exist to tell you that you can't do something. Unlike them, this uncopyright page exists to tell you that the writing and artwork in this ebook are believed to be in the United States public domain. That is, they are believed to be free of copyright restrictions in the United States. The United States public domain represents our collective cultural heritage, and items in it are free for anyone in the United States to do almost anything at all with, without having to get permission. Copyright laws are different all over the world, and the source text or artwork in this ebook may still be copyrighted in other countries. If you're not located in the United States, you must check your local laws before using this ebook. Standard ebooks makes no representations regarding the copyright status of the source text or artwork in this ebook in any country other than the United States. Non-authorship activities performed on items that are in the public domain, so-called sweat of the brow, work, don't create a new copyright. That means that nobody can claim a new copyright on an item that is in the public domain for, among other things, work like digitization, mock-up, or typography. Regardless, the contributors to this ebook release their contributions under the terms in the CC 01.0 Universal Public Domain dedication, thus dedicating to the worldwide public domain all of the work they've done on this ebook, including but not limited to metadata, the title page, imprint, colophon, this uncopyright, and any changes or enhancements to, or mock-up on, the original text and artwork. This dedication doesn't change the copyright status of the source text or artwork. We make this dedication in the interest of enriching our global cultural heritage, to promote free and libre culture around the world, and to give back to the unrestricted culture that has given all of us so much. Table of Contents Landmarks, Act Roman 2 Senia Hall in Angelo's house. We must not make a scarecrow of the law, setting it up to fear the birds of prey, and let it keep one shape, till custom make it their perch and not their terror. Aye, but yet let us be keen, and rather cut a little than fall and bruise to death. Alas, this gentleman, whom I would save, had a most noble father. Let but your honour know, whom I believe to be most straight in virtue, that, in the working of your own affections, had time cohed with place or place with wishing, or that the resolute acting of your blood could have attained the effect of your own purpose, whether you had not sometime in your life erred in this point which now you censure him, and pulled the law upon you. 'Tis one thing to be tempted, Escalus, another thing to fall. I not deny, the jury, passing on the prisoner's life, may in the swan 12 have a thief or two guiltier than him they try. What's open made to justice, that justice seizes. What know the laws that thieves do pass on thieves? 'Tis very pregnant, the jewel that we find, we stoop and take because we see it, but what we do not see we tread upon, and never think of it. You may not so extenuate his offense, for I have had such faults, but rather tell me, when I, that censure him, do so offend, let mine own judgment patent out my death, and nothing come impartial. Sir, he must die. See that Claudio be executed by 9 tomorrow morning. Bring him his confessor, let him be prepared, for that's the utmost of his pilgrimage. Exit Provost, aside. Well, heaven forgive him, and forgive us all. Some rise by sin, and some by virtue fall, some run from breaks of ice, and answer none, and some condemned for a fault alone. This will last out a night in Russia, when nights are longest there. I'll take my leave, and leave you to the hearing of the cause, hoping you'll find good cause to whip them all. I think no less. Good morrow to your lordship. Exit Angelo. Now, sir, come on. What was done to Elbow's wife once more? I thank your worship for your good counsel. Aside, but I shall follow it as the flesh and fortune shall better determine. Whip me? No, no, let common whip his jade, the valiant heart's not whipped out of his trade. Exit. It grieves me for the death of Claudio, but there's no remedy. It is but needful. Mercy is not itself, that oft looks so. Pardon is still the nurse of second woe. But yet, poor Claudio, there is no remedy. Come, sir, exeunt. Seen room into another room in the same. He's hearing of a cause, he will come straight, I'll tell him of you. Pray you do, exit servant, I'll know his pleasure, maybe he will relent. Alas, he hath but as offended in a dream. All sects, all ages smack of this vice, and he to die fought. Did not I tell thee, hadst thou not oughta? Why dost thou ask again? Lest I might be too rash, under your good correction I have seen, when, after execution, judgment hath repented all his doom. Go to, let that be mine, do you your office, or give up your place, and you shall well be spared. I crave your honour's pardon. What shall be done, sir, with the groaning Juliet? She's very near her hour. Dispose of her to some more fit a place, and that with speed. Here is the sister of the man condemned desires access to you. I, my good lord, a very virtuous maid, and to be shortly of a sisterhood, if not already. Well, let her be admitted. Exit servant, see you the fornicatress be removed. Let have needful, but not lavish, means there shall be aught of fought. Stay a little while. To Isabella. You're welcome. What's your will? I am a woeful suitor to your honour, please but your honour hear me. There is a vice that most I do abhor, and most desire should meet the blow of justice, for which I would not plead, but that I must, for which I must not plead, but that I am at war twixt will and will not. I have a brother is condemned to die. I do beseech you, let it be his fault and not my brother. Condemn the fault and not the actor of it? Why, every fault's condemned ere it be done. Mine were the very cipher of a function, to find the faults whose fine stands in record, and let go by the actor. Oh, just but severe law, I had a brother then. Heaven keep your honour, aside to Isabella. Give it not also, to him again, entreat him. Kneel down before him, hang upon his gown, you are too cold. If you should need a pin, you could not with more tame a tongue desire it to him, I say. Yes, I do think that you might pardon him, and neither heaven nor man grieve at the mercy. But might you dot, and do the world no wrong, if so your heart were touched with that remorse as mine is to him? Too late. Why, no, I that do speak a word may call it back again. Well, believe this, no ceremony that to great ones longs, not the king's crown, nor the deputed sword, the marshal's truncheon, nor the judge's robe, become them with one half so good a grace as mercy does. If he had been as you and you as he, you would have slipped like him, but he, like you, would not have been so stern. I would to heaven I had your potency and you were Isabel. Should it then be thus? No, I would tell what 'twere to be a judge and what a prisoner. Your brother is a forfeit of the law, and you but waste your words. Alas, alas, why, all the souls that were forfeit once, and he that might the vantage best have took found out the remedy. How would you be, if he, which is the top of judgment, should but judge you as you are? Oh, think on that, and mercy then will breathe within your lips, like man new made. Be you content, fair maid. It is the law, not I condemn your brother. Were he my kinsman brother or my son, it should be thus with him. He must die tomorrow. Tomorrow? Oh, that's sudden, spare him, spare him. He's not prepared for death. Even for our kitchens we kill the fowl of season. Shall we serve heaven with less respect than we do minister to our gross selves? Good, good my lord, bethink you, who is it that hath died for this offence? There's many have committed it. The law hath not been dead, though it hath slept. Those many had not dared to do that evil, if the first that did the edict infringe had answered for his deed. Now 'tis awake, takes note of what is done, and like a prophet, looks in a glass that shows what future evils, either new, or by remissness new conceived, and so in progress to be hatched and born, are now to have no successive degrees, but, ere they live, to end. I show it most of all when I show justice, for then I pity those I do not know, which a dismissed offence would oft to gall, and do him right that, answering one foul wrong, lives not to act another. Be satisfied, your brother dies tomorrow, be content. So you must be the first that gives this sentence, and he that suffers. Oh, it is excellent to have a giant's strength, but it is tyrannous to use it like a giant. Could great men thunder as Jove himself does, Jove would ne'er be quiet, for every pelting, petty officer would use his heaven for thunder. Nothing but thunder? Merciful heaven, thou rather with thy sharp and sulphurous bolts splitst the unwedgeable and gnarled oak than the soft myrtle. But man, proud man, dressed in a little brief authority, most ignorant of what he's most assured. His glassy essence, like an angry ape, plays such fantastic tricks before high heaven as make the angels weep. Who, with our spleens, would all themselves laugh model, aside to Isabella. Oh, to him, wench! He will relent, he's coming, I perceive it. We cannot weigh our brother with ourself. Great men may jest with saints, 'tis wit in them, but in the less foul profanation. That in the captain's but a choleric word, which in the soldier is flat blasphemy. Because authority, though it err like others, hath yet a kind of medicine in itself that skins the vice o' the top. Go to your bosom, knock there, and ask your heart what it doth know that's like my brother's fault. If it confess a natural guiltiness such as is his, Let it not sound a thought upon your tongue against my brother's life. Aside, she speaks, and 'tis such sense that my sense breeds with it. Fare you well. Not with fond shekels of the tested gold, or stones whose rates are either rich or poor as fancy values them, but with true prayers that shall be up at heaven and enter there ere sunrise, prayers from preserved souls, from fasting maids whose minds are dedicate to nothing temporal. Aside. Amen, for I am that way going to temptation where prayers cross. At what hour tomorrow shall I attend your lordship? From thee, even from thy virtue? What's this? What's this? Is this her fault or mine? The tempter or the tempted who sins most? Ha, not she, nor doth she tempt, but it is I that, lying by the violet in the sun, do as the carrion does, not as the flower, corrupt with virtuous season. Can it be that modesty may more betray our sense than woman's lightness? Having waste ground enough, shall we desire to raise the sanctuary and pitch our evils there? Oh, fie, fie, fie! What dost thou, or what art thou, Angelo? Dost thou desire her foully for those things that make her good? Oh, let her brother live. Thieves for their robbery have authority when judges steal themselves. What do I love her, that I desire to hear her speak again, and feast upon her eyes? What is't I dream on? O cunning enemy, that, to catch a saint, with saints dost bait thy hook? Most dangerous is that temptation that doth goad us on to sin in loving virtue. Never could the strumpet, with all her double vigour, art, and nature, once stir my temper, but this virtuous maid subdues me quite. Even till now, when men were fond, I smiled and wondered how. Exit. Scene Roman 3. A room in a prison. Bound by my charity and my blessed order, I come to visit the afflicted spirits here in the prison. Do me the common right to let me see them, and to make me know the nature of their crimes, that I may minister to them accordingly. Look, here comes one. A gentlewoman of mine, who, falling in the flaws of her own youth, hath blistered her report. She is with child, and he that got it, sentenced, a young man more fit to do another such offence than die for this. As I do think, tomorrow, I have provided for you, stay a while, to Juliet, and you shall be conducted. I'll teach you how you shall arraign your conscience and try your penitence if it be sound, or hollowly put on. So then it seems your most offenseful act was mutually committed. 'Tis meet so, daughter, but lest you do repent, as that the sin hath brought you to this shame, which sorrow is always towards ourselves, not heaven, showing we would not spare heaven as we love it, but as we stand in fear, I do repent me, as it is an evil, and take the shame with joy. There rest. Your partner, as I hear, must die tomorrow, and I am going with instruction to him. Grace go with you, Benedicite. Exit. Must die tomorrow. O injurious love that respites me a life whose very comfort is still a dying horror. Scene Roman for a room in Angelo's house. When I would pray and think, I think and pray to several subjects. Heaven hath my empty words, whilst my invention, hearing not my tongue, anchors on Isabel. Heaven in my mouth as if I did but only chew his name, and in my heart the strong and swelling evil of my conception. The state whereon I studied is like a good thing, being often read, grown feared, and tedious. Yea, my gravity, wherein, let no man hear me, I take pride, could I with boot change for an idle plume which the air beats for vain. O place, O farm, how often dost thou with thy case, thy habit, wrench awe from fools and tie the wiser souls to thy false seeming? Blood, thou art blood. Let's write good angel on the devil's horn, 'tis not the devil's crest. Teach her the way. Exit servant. O heavens! Why does my blood thus muster to my heart, making both it unable for itself, and dispossessing all my other parts of necessary fitness? So play the foolish throngs with one that swoons, come all to help him, and so stop the air by which he should revive. And even so the general, subject to a well-wished king, quit their own part, and in obsequious fondness crowd to his presence, where their untaught love must needs appear offence. That you might know it, would much better please me than to demand what 'tis. Your brother cannot live. Yet may he live a while, and it may be, as long as you or I, yet he must die. When I beseech you, that in his reprieve, longer or shorter, he may be so fitted that his soul sicken not. Ha, fie, these filthy vices! It were as good to pardon him that hath from nature stolen a man already made, as to remit their saucy sweetness that do coin heaven's image and stamps that are forbid. 'Tis all as easy falsely to take away a life true made as to put metal in restrained means to make a false one. Say you so? Then I shall pose you quickly. Which had you rather, that the most just law now took your brother's life, or, to redeem him, give up your body to such sweet uncleanness as she that he hath stained? Sir, believe this, I had rather give my body than my soul. I talk not of your soul. Our compelled sins stand more for number than for accompt. Nay, I'll not warrant that, for I can speak against the thing I say. Answer to this, I, now the voice of the recorded law, pronounce a sentence on your brother's life. Might there not be a charity in sin to save this brother's life? Please you to dot. I'll take it as a peril to my soul. It is no sin at all, but charity. Pleased you to dot at peril of your soul, were equal poise of sin and charity. That I do beg his life, if it be sin, heaven let me bear it. You granting of my suit, if that be sin, I'll make it my maun prayer to have it added to the faults of mine, and nothing of your answer. Nay, but hear me. Your sense pursues not mine, either you are ignorant, or seem so craftily, and that's not good. Let me be ignorant, and in nothing good, but graciously to know I am no better. Thus wisdom wishes to appear most bright when it doth tax itself, as these black masks proclaim an enshielded beauty 10 times louder than beauty could, displayed. But mock me, to be received plain, I'll speak more gross. Your brother is to die. And his offence is so, as it appears, accountant to the law upon that pain. Admit no other way to save his life, as I subscribe not that, nor any other, but in the loss of question, that you, his sister, finding yourself desired of such a person, whose credit with the judge or own great place could fetch your brother from the manacles of the all-building law, and that there were no earthly mean to save him, but that either you must lay down the treasures of your body to this supposed, or else to let him suffer. What would you do? As much for my poor brother as myself, that is, were I under the terms of death, the impression of keen whips I'ld wear as rubies, and strip myself to death, as to a bed that longing have been sick for, ere I'ld yield my body up to shame. And tweer the cheap away, better it were a brother died at once, than that a sister, by redeeming him, should die forever. Were not you then as cruel as the sentence that you have slandered so? Ignominy in ransom and free pardon are of 2 houses. Lawful mercy is nothing kin to foul redemption. You seemed of late to make the law a tyrant, and rather proved the sliding of your brother a merriment than a vice. Oh, pardon me, my lord, it oft falls out, to have what we would have, we speak not what we mean. I something do excuse the thing I hate, for his advantage that I dearly love. Else let my brother die, if not a feedery, but only he owe and succeed thy weakness. I, as the glasses where they view themselves, which are as easy broke as they make forms. Women, help heaven, men their creation mar in profiting by them. Nay, call us 10 times frail, for we are soft as our complexions are, and credulous to false prints. I think it well, and from this testimony of your own sex, since I suppose we are made to be no stronger than faults may shake our frames, let me be bold, I do arrest your words. Be that you are, that is, a woman, if you be ma, you're none, if you be one, as you are well expressed by all external warrants, show it now, by putting on the destined livery. I have no tongue but one, gentle my lord, let me entreat you speak the former language. My brother did love Juliet, and you tell me that he shall die for it. I know your virtue hath a license in't, which seems a little fouler than it is, to pluck on others. Believe me on mine honour, my words express my purpose. Ha, little honour to be much believed, and most pernicious purpose? Seeming, I will proclaim thee. Angelo, look fought, sign me a present pardon for my brother. All with an outstretched throat I'll tell the world aloud what man thou art. Who will believe thee, Isabel? My unsoiled name, the austereness of my life, my vouch against you, and my place I the state, will so your accusation overweigh, that you shall stifle in your own repot and smell of calumny. I have begun, and now I give my sensual race the rein, fit thy consent to my shop appetite, lay by all nicety and prolixious blushes that banish what they sue for, redeem thy brother by yielding up thy body to my will, or else he must not only die the death, but thy unkindness shall his death draw out to lingering sufferance. Answer me tomorrow, by the affection that now guides me most, I'll prove a tyrant to him. As for you, say what you can, my false always your true. Exit. To whom should I complain? Did I tell this, who would believe me? O perilous mouths, that bear in them one and the self-same tongue, either of condemnation or a proof, bidding the law make courtesy to their will, hooking both right and wrong to the appetite, to follow as it draws. I'll to my brother, though he hath fallen by prompture of the blood, yet hath he in him such a mind of honour, that, had he 20 heads to tender down on 20 bloody blocks, he'ld yield them up, before his sister should her body stoop to such abhorred pollution. Then, Isabel, live chaste and brother, die, more than our brother is our chastity. I'll tell him yet of Angelo's request, and fit his mind to death, for his soul's rest. Exit. Act Roman 3. Scene I a room in the prison. The miserable have no other medicine but only hope. I've hope to live, and am prepared to die. Be absolute for death, either death or life shall thereby be the sweeter. Reason thus with life, if I do lose thee, I do lose a thing that none but fools would keep, A breath thou art, servile to all the skyey influences that dost this habitation, where thou keep'st hourly afflict. Merely, thou art death's fool, for him thou labour'st by thy flight to shun, and yet run'st toward him still. Thou art not noble, for all the accommodations that thou bear'st are nursed by baseness. Thou art by no means valiant, for thou dost fear the soft and tender flock of a poor worm. Thy best of rest is sleep, and that thou oft provokest, yet grossly fear'st thy death, which is no more. Thou art not thyself, for thou exist'st on many 1,000 grains that issue out of dust. Happy thou art not, for what thou hast not still thou strivest to get, and what thou hast forget'st. Thou art not certain, for thy complexion shifts to strange effects after the moon. If thou art rich, thou art poor, for like an ass whose back with ingots bows, thou bear'st thy heavy riches but a journey, and death unloads thee. Friend hast thou none, for thine own bowels, which do call thee sire, the mere effusion of thy proper loins, do curse the gout, serpigo, and the rheum, for ending thee no sooner. Thou hast nor youth nor age, but, as it were, an after-dinner's sleep, dreaming on both, for all thy blessed youth becomes as aged, and doth beg the alms of palsied eld. And when thou art old and rich, thou hast neither heat, affection, limb, nor beauty, to make thy riches pleasant. What's yet in this that bears the name of life? Yet in this life lie hid mo 1,000 deaths, yet death we fear, that makes these odds all even. I humbly thank you. To sue to live, I find I seek to die, and seeking death, find life, let it come on. Why, as all comforts are, most good indeed. Lord Angelo, having affairs to heaven, intends you for his swift ambassador, where you shall be an everlasting liger. Therefore your best appointment make with speed. Tomorrow you set on. None but such remedy as to save a head, to cleave a heart in twain. Yes, brother, you may live. There is a devilish mercy in the judge, if you'll implore it, that will free your life, but fetter you till death. Aye, just perpetual durance, a restraint, though all the world's vastity you had, to a determined scope. In such a one as you consenting taught would balk your honor from that trunk you bear, and leave you naked. Oh, I do fear thee, Claudio, and I quake, lest thou a feverous life shouldst entertain, and 6 or 7 winters more respect than a perpetual honor. Darest thou die? The sense of death is most in apprehension, and the poor beetle that we tread upon, in corporal sufferance finds a pang as great as when a giant dies. Why give you me this shame? Think you I can a resolution fetch from flowery tenderness? If I must die, I will encounter darkness as a bride, and hug it in mine arms. There spake my brother, there my father's grave did utter forth a voice. Yes, thou must die, thou art too noble to conserve a life in base appliances. This outward sainted deputy, whose settled visage and deliberate word nips youth i' the head and follies doth emu as falcon doth the fowl, is yet a devil. His filth within being cast, he would appear a pond as deep as hell. Oh, 'tis the cunning livery of hell, the damnedst body to invest and cover in frenzy gods. Dost thou think, Claudio? If I would yield him my virginity, thou mightst be freed. Yes, he would give it thee from this rank offence, so to offend him still. This night's the time that I should do what I abhor to name, or else thou deest tomorrow. Oh, were it but my life, I'll throw it down for your deliverance as frankly as a pin. Yes, has he affections in him, that thus can make him bite the law by the nose when he would force it? Sure it is no sin, or of the deadly 7, it is the least. If it were damnable, he being so wise, why would he for the momentary trick be perdurably fined? Oh, Isabel? Aye, but to die, and go we know not where, to lie in cold obstruction, and to rot. This sensible warm motion to become a kneaded clod, and the delighted spirit to bathe in fiery floods, ought to reside in thrilling region of thick-ribbed ice, to be imprisoned in the viewless winds, and blown with restless violence round about the pendant world, ought to be worse than worst of those that lawless and uncertain thought imagine howling. 'Tis too horrible. The weariest and most loathed worldly life that age, ache, penury, and imprisonment can lay on nature is a paradise to what we fear of death. Sweet sister, let me live. What sin you do to save a brother's life, nature dispenses with the deed so far that it becomes a virtue. O you beast, O faithless coward, O dishonest wretch, wilt thou be made a man out of my vice? Is't not a kind of incest to take life from thine own sister's shame? What should I think? Heaven shield my mother played my father fair, for such a warped slip of wilderness ne'er issued from his blood. Take my defiance? Die, perish? Might but my bending down reprieve thee from thy fate, it should proceed. I'll pray 1,000 prayers for thy death, no word to save thee. Oh, fie, thy sin's not accidental, but a trade. Mercy to thee would prove itself a bawd, 'tis best thou deest quickly. Seen rum into the street before the prison. Fie, sirrah, a bawd, a wicked bawd, the evil that thou causest to be done, that is thy means to live. Do thou but think what 'tis to cram a maw a clothe back from such a filthy vice. Say to thyself, from their abominable and beastly touches I drink, I eat, array myself, and live. Canst thou believe thy living is a life, so stinkingly depending? Go mend, go mend. Nay, if the devil have given thee proofs for sin, thou wilt prove his. Take him to prison. Officer, correction and instruction must both work ere this rude beast will profit. That we were all, as some would seem to be from our faults, as faults from seeming free? No might nor greatness in mortality conscience escape. Back-wounding calumny the whitest virtue strikes. What king so strong can tie the gall up in the slanderous tongue? But who comes here? Not of this country, though my chance is now to use it for my time. I am a brother of gracious order, late come from the sea in special business from his holiness. Peace be with you. Exeunt Aeschylus and Provost. He who the sod of heaven will bear should be as holy as severe, patent in himself to know, grace to stand, and virtue go, more nor less to others paying than by self-offences weighing. Shame to him whose cruel striking kills for faults of his own liking. Twice treble shame on Angelo, to weed my vice and let his grow? Oh, what may man within him hide, though angel on the outward side? How may likeness made in crimes, making practice on the times, to draw with idle spiders strings most ponderous and substantial things? Craft against vice I must apply. With Angelo tonight shall lie his old betrothed but despised. So disguise shall, by the disguised, pay with falsehood false exacting, and perform an old contracting. Exit. Act Roman 4 Scene I the moated grange at St. Luke's. Take, oh, take those lips away that so sweetly were forsworn, and those eyes, the break of day, lights that do mislead the morn. But my kisses bring again, seals of love, but sealed in vain, sealed in vain. Break off thy song, and haste thee quick away. Here comes a man of comfort, whose advice hath often stilled my brawling discontent. Exit, boy. I cry you mercy, sir, and well could wish you had not found me here so musical. Let me excuse me, and believe me so, my mirth it much displeased, but pleased my woe. 'Tis good, though music oft hath such a charm to make bad good, and good provoke to harm. I pray you tell me, hath anybody inquired for me here today? Much upon this time have I promised here to meet. Very well met, and well come. What is the news from this good deputy? He hath a garden circummured with brick, whose western side is with a vineyard backed, and to that vineyard is a planched gate, that makes his opening with this big a key. This other doth command a little door which from the vineyard to the garden leads. There have I made my promise upon the heavy middle of the night to call upon him. I have ta'en a due and wary note upon't, with whispering and most guilty diligence, in action all of precept. He did show me the way twice awe. Are there no other tokens between you agreed concerning her observance? No, none, but only a repair I the dock, and that I have possessed him, my most stay can be but brief. For I have made him know I have a servant comes with me along, that stays upon me, whose persuasion is I come about my brother. 'Tis well borne up. I have not yet made known to Mariana a word of this. What ho, within? Come forth, I pray you be acquainted with this maid, she comes to do you good. Take then, this your companion by the hand, who hath a story ready for your ear. I shall attend your leisure, but make haste, the vaporous night approaches. O place and greatness? Millions of false eyes are stuck upon thee. Volumes of report run with these false and most contrarious quests upon thy doings. Thousand escapes of wit make thee the father of their idle dreams and rack thee in their fancies. She'll take the enterprise upon her, father, if you advise it. It is not my consent, but my entreaty too. Little have you to say when you depart from him, but soft and low, remember now my brother. Naw, gentle daughter, fear you not at all. He is your husband on a precontract to bring you thus together. 'Tis no sin, sith that the justice of your title to him doth flourish the deceit. Come, let us go, our cons to reap, for yet our tithes to sow. Exeunt. Scene room into a room in the prison. Call hither Barnardine and Claudio. Exeunt Pompey and Abhassan. The one has my pity, not a jot the other, being a murderer though he were my brother. Look, here's the warrant, Claudio, for thy death. 'Tis now dead midnight, and by 8 tomorrow thou must be made immortal. Where's Barnardine? As fast locked up in sleep as guiltless labor when it lies starkly in the traveller's bones, he will not wake. Who can do good on him? Well, go, prepare yourself. Knocking within. But hark, what noise? Heaven give your spirits comfort. Exit Claudio. By and by, I hope it is some pardon or reprieve for the most gentle Claudio. The best and wholesomest spurts of the night envelope you, good provost? Who called here of late? Not so, not so. His life is paralleled even with the stroke and line of his great justice. He doth with holy abstinence subdue that in himself which he spurs on his power to qualify in others. Were he mealed with that which he corrects, then were he tyrannous, but this being so, he's just. Knocking within. Now are they come. Exit Provost. This is a gentle provost, seldom when the steeled jailer is the friend of men. Knocking within. How now? What noise? That spirits possessed with haste that wounds the unsisting postin with these strokes. That he must stay until the officer arise to let him in. He is called up. Have you no countermand for Claudio yet, but he must die tomorrow? As near the dawning, Provost, as it is, you shall hear more ere morning. Happily you something know, yet I believe there comes no countermand, no such example have we. Besides, upon the very siege of justice, Lord Angelo hath to the public ear professed the contrary. Aside. This is his pardon, purchased by such sin for which the pardoner himself is in. Hence hath offence his quick celerity, when it is born in high authority. When vice makes mercy, mercy's so extended, that for the fault's love is the offender friended. Now, sir, what news? Reads. Whatsoever you may hear to the contrary, let Claudio be executed by 4 of the clock, and in the afternoon Bonardine, for my better satisfaction, let me have Claudio's head sent me by 5. Let this be duly performed, with a thought that more depends on it than we must yet deliver. Thus fail not to do your office, as you will answer it at your peril. What say you to this, sir? Scene Roman 3 another room in the same. Oh, sir, you must, and therefore I beseech you look forward on the journey you shall go. Unfit to live or die, O gravel hot, after him, fellows, bring him to the block. Exeunt ob Hosson and Pompey. A creature unprepared, unmeet for death, and to transport him in the mind he is were damnable. Here in the prison, father, there died this morning of a cruel fever one Ragozine, a most notorious pirate, a man of Claudio's years, his beard and head just of his color. What if we do omit this reprobate till he were well inclined, and satisfy the deputy with the visage of Ragozine, more like to Claudio? Oh, 'tis an accident that heaven provides. Dispatch it presently. The hour draws on prefixed by Angelo. See this be done, and sent according to command, whiles I persuade this rude wretch willingly to die. This shall be done, good father, presently. But Bonardine must die this afternoon, and how shall we continue Claudio, to save me from the danger that might come if he were known alive? Let this be done. Put them in secret holds, both Bonardine and Claudio. Ere twice the sun hath made his journal greeting to the undergeneration, you shall find your safety manifested. Quick, dispatch, and send the head to Angelo. Exit Provost. Now will I write letters to Angelo. The Provost, he shall bear them, whose contents shall witness to him I am near at home, and that, by great injunctions, I am bound to enter publicly. Him I'll desire to meet me at the consecrated fount a league below the city, and from thence, by cold gradation and well-balanced form, we shall proceed with Angelo. Convenient is it? Make a swift return, for I would commune with you of such things that want no ear but yours. The tongue of Isabel. She's come to know if yet her brother's pardon be come hither, but I will keep her ignorant of her good, to make her heavenly comforts of despair, when it is least expected. The better, given me by so holy a man. Hath yet the deputy sent my brother's pardon? He hath released him, Isabel, from the world. His head is off and sent to Angelo. It is no other. Show your wisdom, daughter, in your close patience. Unhappy Claudio, wretched Isabel, injurious world, most damned Angelo. This naw hurts him, naw profits you a jot. Forbear it therefore, give your cause to heaven. Mock what I say, which you shall find by every syllable a faithful verity. The Duke comes home tomorrow. Nay, dry your eyes, one of our convent and his confessor gives me this instance. Already he hath carried notice to Escalus and Angelo, who do prepare to meet him at the gates, there to give up their power. If you can, pace your wisdom in that good path that I would wish it go, and you shall have your bosom on this wretch, grace of the Duke, revenges to your heart, and general honor. This letter, then, to Friar Peter give. 'Tis that he sent me of the Duke's return, say, by this token, I desire his company at Mariana's house tonight. Her cause and yours I'll perfect him withal, and he shall bring you before the Duke, and to the head of Angelo, accuse him home and home. For my poor self, I am combined by a sacred vow, and shall be absent. Wend you with this letter, command these fretting waters from your eyes with a light heart. Trust not my holy order, if I pervert your cause. Who's here? Scene Roman for a room in Angelo's house. Good night. Exit Escalus. This deed unshapes me quite, makes me unpregnant and dull to all proceedings. A deflowered maid, and by an eminent body that enforced the law against it, but that her tender shame will not proclaim against her maiden loss, how might she tongue me? Yet reason dares her no, for my authority bears of a credent bulk, that no particular scandal once can touch, but it confounds the breather. He should have lived, save that riotous youth with dangerous sense might in the times to come have ta'en revenge, by so receiving a dishonored life with ransom of such shame. Would yet he had lived? Alack, when once our grace we have forgot, nothing goes right, we would, and we would not. Exit. Scene V. Fields without the town. These letters at fit time deliver me, giving letters. The provost knows our purpose and our plot. The matter being afoot, keep your instruction, and hold you ever to our special drift, though sometimes you do blench from this to that, as cause doth minister. Go call at Flavius' house, and tell him where I stay. Give the like notice to Valentinus, Roland, and to Crassus, and bid them bring the trumpets to the gate, but send me Flavius first. I thank thee, Varius, thou haste made good haste, come, we will walk. There's other of our friends will greet us here anon, my gentle Varius. Exeunt. Scene VI. Street near the city gate. To speak so indirectly I am loath. I would say the truth, but to accuse him so, that is your pot. Yet I am advised to do it, he says, to veil full purpose. Besides, he tells me that, if peradventure he speak against me on the adverse side, I should not think it strange, for 'tis a physic that's bitter to sweet end. Come, I have found you out a stand most fit, where you may have such vantage on the Duke, he shall not pass you. Twice have the trumpets sounded. The generous and gravest citizens have hent the gates, and very near upon the Duke is entering. Therefore, hence, away. Exeunt. Act V. Scene I. The city gate. My very worthy cousin, fairly met. Our old and faithful friend, we are glad to see you. Many and hearty thankings to you both. We have made inquiry of you, and we hear such goodness of your justice that our soul cannot but yield you forth to public thanks, foreigning more requital. Oh, your desert speaks loud, and I should wrong it to lock it in the wads of covert bosom, when it deserves, with characters of brass, afforded residence gainst the tooth of time and razor of oblivion. Give me your hand, and let the subject see, to make them know that outward courtesies would fain proclaim favors that keep within. Come, Escalus, you must walk by us on our other hand, and good supporters are you. Justice, O royal Duke, veil your regard upon a wronged, I would fain have said a maid. O worthy prince, dishonor not your eye by throwing it on any other object, till you have heard me in my true complaint and given me justice, 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 justice. Relate your wrongs, in what, by whom, be brief. Here is Lord Angelo shall give you justice, reveal yourself to him. O worthy Duke, you bid me seek redemption of the devil, hear me yourself, for that which I must speak must either punish me, not being believed, or wring redress from you. Hear me, oh hear me, hear. My lord, her wits, I fear me, are not firm. She hath been a suitor to me for her brother cut off by cause of justice. Most strange, but yet most truly will I speak, that Angelo's forsworn. Is it not strange? That Angelo's a murderer? Is't not strange? That Angelo is an adulterous thief and hypocrite, a virgin violator? Is it not strange and strange? It is not truer he is Angelo than this is all as true as it is strange. Nay, it is 10 times true, for truth is truth to the end of reckoning. Away with her. Poor soul, she speaks this in the infirmity of sense. O prince, I conjure thee, as thou believest there is another comfort than this world, that thou neglect me not, with that opinion that I am touched with madness? Make not impossible that which but seems unlike. 'Tis not impossible but one, the wickedst caitiff on the ground, may seem as shy, as grave, as just, as absolute as Angelo. Even so may Angelo, in all his dressings, characters, titles, forms, be an arch-villain. Believe it, royal prince. If he be less, he's nothing, but he's more, had I more name for badness. By mine honesty, if she be mad, as I believe no other, her madness hath the oddest frame of sense, such a dependency of thing on thing, as e'er I heard in madness. O gracious Duke, hop not on that, nor do not banish reason for inequality, but let your reason serve to make the truth appear where it seems hid, and hide the false seems true. Many that are not mad have sure, more lack of reason. What would you say? I am the sister of one Claudio, condemned upon the act of fornication to lose his head, condemned by Angelo. I, in probation of a sisterhood, was sent to by my brother, one Lucio as then the messenger. That's I, aunt like your grace. I came to her from Claudio, and desired her to try her gracious fortune with Lord Angelo for her poor brother's pardon. No, my good lord, nor wish to hold my peace. I wish you now, then, pray you take note of it, and when you have a business for yourself, pray heaven you then be perfect. It may be right, but you are I the wrong to speak before your time. Proceed. I went to this pernicious caitiff deputy, pardon it, the phrase is to the matter. In brief, to set the needless process by, how I persuaded, how I prayed, and kneeled, how he refelled me, and how I replied, for this was of much length. The vile conclusion I now begin with grief and shame to utter, He would not, but by gift of my chaste body to his concupiscible intemperate lust, release my brother. And after much debatement my sisterly remorse confutes mine honour, and I did yield to him. But the next morn betimes, his purpose surfeiting, he sends a warrant for my poor brother's head. By heaven, fond wretch, thou know'st not what thou speak'st, or else thou art suborned against his honour in hateful practice. First, his integrity stands without blemish. Next, it imparts no reason that with such vehemency he should pursue faults proper to himself. If he had so offended, he would have weighed thy brother by himself, and not have cut him off. Someone hath set you on. Confess the truth, and say by whose advice thou camest here to complain. And is this all? Then, O you blessed ministers above, keep me in patience, and with ripened time unfold the evil which is here wrapped up in countenance. Heaven shield your grace from woe, as I, thus wronged, hence unbelieved go. I know you'll fain be gone. An officer, to prison with her? Shall we thus permit a blasting and a scandalous breath to fall on him so near us? This needs must be a practice. Who knew of your intent and coming hither? My lord, I know him. 'Tis a meddling friar. I do not like the man. Had he been lay, my lord, for certain words he spake against your grace in your retirement, I had swinged him soundly. Words against me? This is a good friar, belike, and to set on this wretched woman here against our substitute? Let this friar be found. But yesternight, my lord, she and that friar, I saw them at the prison. A saucy friar, a very scurvy fellow. Blessed be your royal grace, I have stood by, my lord, and I have heard your royal ear abused. First, hath this woman most wrongfully accused your substitute, who is as free from touch or soil with her as she from one ungot. We did believe no less. Know you that Friar Lodowick that she speaks of? I know him for a man divine and holy, not scurvy, nor a temporary meddler, as he's reported by this gentleman, and on my trust, a man that never yet did, as he vouches, misreport your grace. Well, he in time may come to clear himself, but at this instant he is sick, my lord, of a strange fever. Upon his mere request, being come to knowledge that there was complaint intended gainst Lord Angelo, came I hither, to speak, as from his mouth, what he doth know is true and false, and what he with his oath and all probation will make up full clear, whensoever he's convented. First, for this woman, to justify this worthy nobleman, so vulgarly and personally accused, her shall you hear disproved to her eyes, till she herself confess it. Good friar, let's hear it. Isabella is carried off guarded, and Mariana comes forward. Do you not smile at this, Lord Angelo? O heaven, the vanity of wretched fools, give us some seats. Come, cousin Angelo, in this I'll be impartial, be you judge of your own cause. Is this the witness, friar? First, let her show her face and off to speak. Pardon, my lord, I will not show my face until my husband bid me. Silence that fellow, I would he had some cause to prattle for himself. My lord, I do confess I ne'er was married, and I confess besides I am no maid. I have known my husband, yet my husband knows not that ever he knew me. Now I come taught my lord, she that accuses him of fornication, in self-same manner doth accuse my husband, and charges him, my lord, with such a time when I'll depose I had him in mine arms with all the effect of love. Why, just my lord, and that is Angelo, who thinks he knows that he ne'er knew my body, but knows he thinks that he knows Isabel's. My husband bids me, now I will unmask, unveiling. This is that face, thou cruel Angelo, which once thou swerest was worth the looking on. This is the hand which, with a vowed contract, was fast belocked in thine. This is the body that took away the match from Isabel, and did supply thee at thy garden house in her imagined person. My lord, I must confess I know this woman. And 5 years since there was some speech of marriage betwixt myself and her, which was broke off, partly for that her promised precautions came short of composition, but in chief for that her reputation was disvalued in levity, since which time of 5 years I never spake with her, saw her, nor heard from her, upon my faith and honour. Noble prince, as there comes light from heaven and words from breath, as there is sense in truth and truth in virtue, I am affianced this man's wife as strongly as words could make up vows. And, my good lord, but Tuesday night lost gone in's garden house he knew me as a wife. As this is true, let me in safety raise me from my knees, or else for ever be confixed here, a marble monument. I did but smile till now. Now, good my lord, give me the scope of justice. My patience here is touched. I do perceive these poor informal women are no more but instruments of some more mightier member that sets them on. Let me have way, my lord, to find this practice out. I, with my heart, and punish them to your height of pleasure. Thou foolish friar, and thou pernicious woman, compact with her that's gone, think'st thou thy oaths, though they would swear down each particular saint, were testimonies against his worth and credit that sealed an approbation? You, Laud Escalus, sit with my cousin. Lend him your kind pains to find out this abuse, whence 'tis derived. There is another friar that set them on. Let him be sent for. Would he were here, my lord? For he indeed hath set the women on to this complaint. Your provost knows the place where he abides, and he may fetch him. Go do it instantly. Exit provost. And you, my noble and well-warranted cousin, whom it concerns to hear this matter forth, do with your injuries as seems you best. In any chastisement I for a while will leave you, but stir not you till you have well determined upon these slanderers. My lord will do it throughly. Exit Duke. Signia Lucio, did not you say you knew that Friar Lodowick to be a dishonest person? Respect to your great place, and let the devil be sometime honored for his burning throne. Where is the Duke? 'Tis he should hear me speak. The Duke's in us, and we will hear you speak. Look, you speak justly. Boldly, at least. But, oh, poor souls, come you to seek the lamb here of the fox? Good night to your redress. Is the Duke gone? Then is your cause gone too. The Duke's unjust, thus to retort your manifest appeal, and put your trial in the villain's mouth which here you come to accuse. Why, thou unreverend and unhallowed friar, is't not enough thou haste sub on these women to accuse this worthy man, but in foul mouth and in the witness of his proper ear, to call him villain, and then to glance from him to the Duke himself, to tax him with injustice? Take him hence, to the rack with him. We'll touse you joint by joint, but we will know his purpose. What unjust! Be not so hot. The Duke dare no more stretch this finger of mine than he dare rack his own. His subject am I not, nor here provincial. My business in this state made me a looker-on here in Vienna, where I have seen corruption boil and bubble till it o'errun the stew. Laws for all faults, but faults so countenanced, that the strong statutes stand like the forfeits in a barber's shop, as much in mock as mock. What can you vouch against him, Signia Lucio? Is this the man that you did tell us of? Thou art the first knave that e'er madest a duke. First, provost, let me bail these gentle three. To Lucio. Sneak not away, sir, for the friar and you must have a word anon. Lay hold on him. To Escalus, what you have spoke I pardon. Sit you down, we'll borrow place of him. To Angelo, sir, by your leave. Haste thou or word or wit or impudence that yet can do the office? If thou haste, rely upon it till my tale be heard and hold no longer out. O my dread lord, I should be guiltier than my guiltiness to think I can be undiscernible, when I perceive your grace, like power divine, hath looked upon my passes. Then, good prince, no longer session hold upon my shame, but let my trial be mine own confession. Immediate sentence then and sequent death is all the grace I beg. Come hither, Mariana. Say, wast thou e'er contracted to this woman? Go take her hence and marry her instantly. Do you the office, friar, which consummate return him here again. Go with him, provost. Exeunt Angelo, Mariana, Friar Peter and provost. My lord, I am more amazed at his dishonor than at the strangeness of it. Come hither, Isabel. Your friar is now your prince. As I was then advertising and wholly to your business, not changing hot with habit, I am still attorneyed at your service. Oh, give me pardon that I, your vassal, have employed and pained your unknown sovereignty. You are pardoned, Isabel, and now, dear maid, be you as free to us. Your brother's death, I know, sits at your heart, and you may marvel why I obscured myself, laboring to save his life, and would not rather make rash remonstrance of my hidden power than let him so be lost. O most kind maid, it was the swift celerity of his death, which I did think with slower foot came on, that brained my purpose. But peace be with him. That life is better life, past fearing death, than that which lives to fear. Make it your comfort, so happy is your brother. For this new married man approaching here, whose salt imagination yet hath wronged your well-defended honor, you must pardon for Mariana's sake, but as he had judged your brother, being criminal, in double violation of sacred chastity and of promise breach thereon dependent for your brother's life, the very mercy of the law cries out most audible, even from his proper tongue, and Angelo for Claudio, death for death? Haste still pays haste and leisure answers leisure, like doth quit like and measure still for measure. Then, Angelo, thy faults thus manifested, which, though thou wouldst deny, denies thee vantage. We do condemn thee to the very block where Claudio stooped to death, and with like haste. Away with him? O my most gracious lord, I hope you will not mock me with a husband. It is your husband mocked you with a husband. Consenting to the safeguard of your honor, I thought your marriage fit. Else imputation, for that he knew you, might reproach your life and choke your good to come. For his possessions, although by confiscation they are ours, we do instate and widow you withal, to buy you a better husband. O my dear lord, I crave no other, nor no better man. You do but lose your labor. Away with him to death. To Lucio. Now, sir, to you? Oh, my good lord, sweet Isabel, take my pot, lend me your knees, and all my life to come I'll lend you all my life to do you service. Against all sense you do importune her, should she kneel down in mercy of this fact, her brother's ghost his paved bed would break, and take her hence in horror. Isabel, sweet Isabel, do yet but kneel by me, hold up your hands, say nothing, I'll speak all. They say, best men are moulded out of faults and for the most become much more the better for being a little bad, so may my husband. Oh, Isabel, will you not lend a knee? Most bounteous sir, kneeling. Look, if it please you, on this man condemned, as if my brother lived. I partly think a due sincerity governed his deeds, till he did look on me, since it is so, let him not die. My brother had but justice, in that he did the thing for which he died. For Angelo, his act did not take his bad intent, and must be buried but as an intent that perished by the way. Thoughts are no subjects, intents but merely thoughts. Your suit's unprofitable, stand up, I say, I have bethought me of another fault. Provost, how came it Claudio was beheaded at an unusual hour? For which I do discharge you of your office, give up your keys. Pardon me, noble lord, I thought it was a fault, but knew it not. Yet did repent me after more advice, for testimony whereof, one in the prison that should by private order else have died, I have reserved alive. I would thou hadst done so by Claudio. Go fetch him hither, let me look upon him. Exit, Provost, I am sorry, one so learned and so wise as you, Lord Angelo, have still appeared, should slip so grossly, both in the heat of blood and lack of tempered judgment afterward. I am sorry that such sorrow I procure, and so deep sticks it in my penitent heart that I crave death more willingly than mercy. 'Tis my deserving, and I do entreat it. There was a friar told me of this man. Sirrah, thou art said to have a stubborn soul, that apprehends no further than this world, and squarest thy life according. Thou art condemned, but for those earthly faults I quit them all, and pray thee take this mercy to provide for better times to come. Friar, advise him, I leave him to your hand. What muffled fellow's that? This is another prisoner that I saved, who should have died when Claudio lost his head, as like almost to Claudio as himself. Unmuffles Claudio, to Isabella. If he be like your brother, for his sake is he pardoned, and for your lovely sake, give me your hand and say you will be mine, he is my brother too, but fit a time for that. By this Lord Angelo perceives he's safe, methinks I see a quickening in his eye. Well, Angelo, your evil quits you well, look that you love your wife, her worth yours. I find an apt remission in myself, and yet here's one in place I cannot pardon. To Lucio, you, sirrah, that knew me for a fool, a coward, one all of luxury, an ass, a madman, wherein have I so deserved of you that you extol me thus? Whipped first, sir, and hanged after. Proclaim it, provost, round about the city, is any woman wronged by this lewd fellow, as I have heard him swear himself there's one whom he begot with child, let her appear, and he shall marry her. The nuptial finished, let him be whipped and hanged. Upon mine honour, thou shalt marry her. Thy slanders I forgive, and therewith I'll remit thy other forfeits. Take him to prison, and see our pleasure herein executed. Slandering a prince deserves it. Exit offices with Lucio. She, Claudio, that you wronged, look you restore. Joy to you, Mariana. Love her, Angelo. I have confessed her, and I know her virtue. Thanks, good friend Escalus, for thy much goodness. There's more behind that is more gratulate. Thanks, provost, for thy care and secrecy. We shall employ thee in a worthier place. Forgive him, Angelo, that brought you home the head of Ragazine for Claudio's. The offence pardons itself. Dear Isabel, I have a motion much imparts your good. Whereto if you'll a willing ear incline, what's mine is yours, and what is yours is mine. So bring us to our palace, where we'll show what's yet behind, that's meet you all should know. Exeunt. Colophon Measure for Measure was published in 1604 by William Shakespeare. This ebook was produced for Standard eBooks by Emma Sweeney, and is based on a transcription produced in 1993 by Jeremy Hilton for the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and on digital scans from the Hathai Trust Digital Library. The cover page is adapted from Mariana, a painting completed in 1851 by John Everett Millay. The cover and title pages feature the League Spartan and Sots Mill Gaudi typefaces created in 2014 and 2009 by the League of Movable Type. This edition was released on August 18, 2025, 9:13 p.m., and is based on revision 9A13C22. The first edition of this ebook was released on September 23, 2022, 6:49 p.m. You can check for updates to this ebook, view its revision history, or download it for different e-reading systems at standardbooksog/ebooks/William Shakespeare/Measure for Measure. The volunteer-driven Standard eBooks project relies on readers like you to submit typos, corrections, and other improvements. Anyone can contribute at standardbooks.org. Dramatis Personae Vincentio, the Duke Angelo, Deputy Escalus, an ancient Lord Claudio, a young gentleman Lucio, a fantastic two other gentlemen Provost Thomas, a friar Peter, a friar Augustus Varius Elbow, a simple constable Froth, a foolish gentleman Pompey, servant to mistress overdone Abhassan, an executioner Barnardine, a dissolute prisoner Isabella, sister to Claudio Mariana, betrothed to Angelo Juliet, beloved of Claudio Francisca, a nun mistress overdone, a bawd lords, officers, citizens, boy, and attendants seen, Vienna. Measure for measure. Imprint this ebook is the product of many hours of hard work by volunteers for Standard ebooks, and builds on the hard work of other literature lovers made possible by the public domain. This particular ebook is based on a transcription from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and on digital scans from the Hathai Trust Digital Library. The source text and artwork in this ebook are believed to be in the United States public domain. That is, they are believed to be free of copyright restrictions in the United States. They may still be copyrighted in other countries, so users located outside of the United States must check their local laws before using this ebook. The creators of and contributors to this ebook dedicate their contributions to the worldwide public domain via the terms in the CC 01.0 Universal Public Domain Dedication. For full license information, see the uncopyright at the end of this ebook. Standard eBooks is a volunteer-driven project that produces ebook editions of public domain literature using modern typography, technology, and editorial standards, and distributes them free of cost. You can download this and other ebooks carefully produced for true book lovers at standardbooks.org.